Hi everybody, and welcome to our review for January. Bad Boys for Life. I thought about doing the song for the intro, and then I remembered I'm white.
We are not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. No, that's correct. Quite correct. We are malevolent juveniles for life.
Before we get into the plot, spoilers, or anything else, I did learn one important lesson from this movie, and I have figured out the formula for a good Michael Bay film. Don't let Michael Bay direct it.
That's correct.
Because, like, if you think about it, you had, like, the Transformers, a Michael Bay franchise, which as of about a quarter of the way through the second movie, I refuse to acknowledge anything else. And then Travis Knight comes in to direct Bumblebee, and we finally have a good Transformers film.
Yeah.
And Bad Boys 3 here is directed by Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah, who are two up-and-coming directors who have actually mastered the Michael Bay formula.
Oh, it was incredible how well bayed this movie was.
And there is not a single exploitative or misogynistic camera shot in the entire movie.
Yeah, which is how you know it's not Michael Bay.
Exactly.
Because it sexes up the violence, it sexes up the cars, there are Dutch angle shots and all of that crap, but there is no, like, ass. Like, it's fascinating. It's PG Michael Bay. It's general public
like,
Michael Bay. Yeah.
It's amazing because, like, you see they've so clearly hit the Bad Boys formula.
Yeah.
In every way.
Yeah.
And they have opportunity after opportunity for those exploitative camera angles. But again, not once. So to get into the plot of this film, and again, you know that Michael Bay did not direct the movie because it has a plot. This is essentially the origin story in a lot of ways of Will Smith's detective Mike Lowry.
Yeah.
Because, like, you have the standard Martin Lawrence's character, Marcus Burnett. That was it. Detective Marcus Burnett. He wants to retire. He knows he's getting old. He wants like the quiet life at home. Yada yada yada. And we learn after the opening, pointless in any other film, action sequence that Marcus has now become a grandfather.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand how they ended up in a high-speed chase for that. But
it's a film where you're not supposed to remember what happened one scene to another, which is almost even more Michael Bay than Michael Bay, where Michael Bay has forgotten what happened in the previous scene.
And, well, to actually elaborate on what is, we have Will Smith playing Mike Lowry, playing Will Smith. Because, as I've said in the past, there are two reasons you cast Will Smith in a movie. It's either you cast him because you feel he's perfect for the role. Easy example is, of course, Ali.
Yeah.
Or you're casting him for Will Smith.
Now, I felt he was wasted in this film in a fascinating sense.
Yeah.
It's actually, I would have liked to have seen him have less screen time, because the vast majority of this movie is him chasing various MacGuffins. It starts as one MacGuffin, ends as another MacGuffin, and finally at the very end you're like, oh, okay, apparently this was the film. We'll get to that in a bit. But early on, he gets shot.
Yeah.
And it's treated as if he's gonna die. He's gonna die. I thought they should have killed him. That would have been out of the blue for a Bad Boys film, and it would have made Marcus's part suddenly have to be all that more beefier, and we would have actually had a chance to see Martin Lawrence really stretch. That could have been really cool, and a brilliant way of screwing with audience expectations, because like Will Smith never dies.
True. I think at the same time,
Yeah.
I actually liked Will Smith's work here because he actually has something to play with.
No, it's true.
Because
it's not that, oh, the rest of the film shouldn't have had it. I just meant that one moment was just like, you're not gonna kill him. This is such a bad fake out.
Yeah.
If this was any other character, they would have died at that point, especially if you're following the Lethal Weapon logic that this seems to have been following. Like, the smooth jazz would have started, and the person would be dead. And that would have been awesome if it's just like the bad boys, it's bad boys for life. One of them is dead.
Oh, true. And like on the one hand, you're right. The fake out doesn't work.
No.
Because they do a montage of Mike being in the hospital, and then cut to what they make look like a funeral. But turns out it's
a wedding.
It's actually the wedding of Marcus's daughter. 6 months after she's had the baby.
Yeah, and this fake out. So during this funeral, so it's a three-way fake out.
Yeah.
So you think he's dead, and you think this is a funeral. Oh, okay. You don't know how much time has passed. It's actually a wedding. Two basic fake outs, but he comes out in a wheelchair.
Yep.
Okay. So now the complexity is he can't do the super cop stuff he used to do. No, that lasts for 5 seconds.
Yep.
Because he stands up out of it and everyone goes, oh, wow. And it's about then that you realize, okay, a year has passed. But this is three fake outs that don't fucking work. Because there's no setup. There's no...
No, like they could have, but like you said, the lack of setup, they come too early in the movie.
Yeah.
But like on the other hand with that though, I liked it because, like I said, it gives Will Smith a lot to play with.
Yeah.
Because now Mike feels vulnerable.
Yeah.
For essentially the first time in his career.
Yeah. Which they then more or less eject from the film after a couple of scenes for a different but somewhat foreshadowed twist on his character. Because this film can't keep track of what it wants you to think about.
No, but at the same time, I will give them credit and probably set up to discuss the twist that you just mentioned. Because as much as people are comparing this movie to Lethal Weapon, and rightfully so, this franchise in general should in some ways be compared to the Fast and the Furious.
Yes.
Because they're both batshit insane.
We mentioned that there's a spin-off feel near the end, or a sequel or spin-off. It's the same attitude that Fast and the Furious does, where it's like, here's a new character. They're not dead by the end. So, you know.
And they also have the balls to, in their third movie, what Fast and the Furious still hasn't done after 8, which is to bring in mysticism.
Yes, yeah.
Why? 'Cause fuck you.
Like, outright magic exists. And there's a moment early on where you see this magic and you're thinking like, okay, that got faked somehow.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. You're supposed to think this person's magic and they're not. No, they're fucking magic. They're fucking magic.
Yep. There's a prison escape sequence that kind of gets dropped and isn't connected to anything
at all.
Like I would have really appreciated if this had been connected to a villain from one of the past 2 films.
Yeah.
But this sequence only works is if this woman who is escaping from a woman's prison teleports. That's the only way that I can make sense of it.
But here's the thing. The world they set up
Yep.
allows for her to teleport. So maybe she did.
Exactly.
You don't know.
No, you don't know. And again, it's the Bad Boys franchise. So if you haven't said fuck it by the end of the first movie,
Yeah. And you may be thinking, well, clearly what happened is this film was taken from Michael Bay and he had no hand in it, no say, and they've just gone crazy without him.
and then he walks out as the MC of the wedding.
So, fuck you.
Like, it was literally, I see him walk out, he's got the mic as the MC.
At first, I was just like, that can't actually be Michael Bay.
Yeah!
Like, clearly, what they've done is they've hired a lookalike, and they're about to be snide as fuck to him. No.
No,
It's Michael Bay.
he doesn't have time to make the movie, but he can still show up to be in it. Like, he's just there to go, yeah, this is still my franchise. But, so we found out that this woman who has escaped from prison is an honest-to-God bruja.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you who don't know, is basically a Mexican witch. And over the course of the film, she sends her son to kill everyone who is involved with sending her husband to jail.
Yeah, and he's a super assassin who's like killed every other member of law enforcement in, I guess it's Miami?
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone who isn't Martin Lawrence got shot, and Will Smith survived, but everyone else died. And then a year goes by after this swath of killing, and they haven't caught him, and they have to just be like, oh, and start it again. Shit.
But the important thing is that Lowry was supposed to die last.
Mm.
And the reason for this is because she wants him to see everyone else who is involved in this case die around him, and then she wants to be able to say this phrase to him so that it's the last thing he hears before he dies. Smith, later on during the investigation, gets possession of his cell phone, tells the tech guy from this new high-tech cutting-edge investigation team that the Miami-Dade PD has formed.
Who are like the nemesis of the Bad Boys, because they're all like using science and shit instead of just rolling in and killing everyone.
Yeah, it's the standard old school versus new school. So, like I was saying, there's a point where they get the cell phone from like the number 2 guy in the cartel. Basically, the guy ranked like right below our favorite murder ninja.
Yeah.
And so Lowry gets the tech guy from Ammo, who they eventually start working with. I can't remember what the acronym actually stands for. Lowry has the tech guy send out a text message with this certain Spanish phrase to, I think, pretty much every number on the phone, and then he just waits to see who responds.
Yeah.
And then he gets this text back that's marked unknown number, and it just says, "Hello, Mike." And he immediately knows who it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our favorite Mexican witch.
Yeah.
Who we find out has basically created Detective Lowry. And like another ongoing thing with Detective Lowry over the course of the movie is it's brought up several times how he has only ever been in love once.
Yeah.
And it turns out it was on his very first undercover mission when he was pulled straight out of the academy. And it's that fascinating. This is more origin for this character than anyone wanted.
Yeah.
But it's also more character development than you would ever expect from this franchise.
Yeah, especially this far down the road.
Yeah.
This is second movie stuff. And yet here we are.
And I'm kind of like, by the end of the movie, I'm kind of going like, I know that Will Smith had said he would only come back for a third movie if it was the right script.
And apparently this was it?
Apparently. Which...
Jesus, Will.
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, he, I think character-wise, had more to play with than he had in either of the previous films.
That is true. It's just... It's like saying... If they came in and was like, now Mike rides a dinosaur, and it's just a remix of that Whoopi Goldberg movie from the 80s where she's teamed up with a dinosaur, and it's like, technically that's more to play with as well. It doesn't mean that you should do it. And I feel like this movie's on that level, because what we've been working up to is Mike has been stooping in the past the witch.
Yeah.
This is right. That's how you do it with a witch.
Yeah, like basically, like we said, the one and only time that he has ever been in love, was with her.
This is the witch, and like, okay, no love potions or anything come into this. Not at all. It's just straightforward.
Yeah.
He fell in love with a witch. Magic is real. Magic is real. Will Smith fell in love with a witch. Therefore, the conclusion, the final MacGuffin, the thing that is actually driving his character throughout this, that you only find out in the last third, is that Mexican murder ninja is his son!
Dun, dun, dun!
At the very end of this movie, the character who not only murdered a bunch of other cops and stuff, but also Joey Pants.
Yep.
Immediately Will Smith's like, hey, let's go do some secret adventures.
Yep. It's the most Fast and Furious moment of really the entire Bad Boys franchise.
Like, at least Fast and the Furious usually is like, let's give them one movie, or like, let's not make it clear that they're going to be a hero next time. We'll just have the next thing be so big that we have to contact them. No, this one is just like, we don't know if we're going to get a sequel to this. So we're just going to outright tell you that the next one is going to actually be really low-key Martin Lawrence, and it's going to mostly be Will Smith and Mexican murder ninja son.
So the two of them get to Mexico. They go to an old contact that Detective Lowry has to get guns because, like, of course, it's almost Rambo-esque.
They should have been Stallone and just and he gives him a gun, and it's just more connections, more. Sarah Connor comes around the corner. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's another one of those. Any other movie. But the amount that the Bad Boys franchise at this point can get away with is just utterly fascinating.
It really is. It includes magic. The next one, let's have aliens. Just fuck it, aliens.
Why not?
Fuck it, aliens.
So we get to the final confrontation where the ammo team shows up in Mexico because
apparently you can do that.
Martin Lawrence called them.
Yeah.
And they bring in all sorts of high-tech gear, more modern weapons that they got through an arrangement with the DEA.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure is also how the third act of Bad Boys 2 worked. No, and I mean, like I said, it hits every police movie cliche you could think of.
It really does.
Right down to the villain being thrown into a giant fire pit at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's almost it's almost the same bad CG fall that you would see toward the end of something like The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And again, as I've said several times here, there is so much in this movie that anywhere else would not work in the slightest. But it's so fascinating how here, and only here, it kind of does.
I mean, yeah, nothing is out of place in this weird film. Everything makes sense.
Yeah.
That is stupid. Yeah, let's go with that. That is stupid.
Now, my final thoughts here, if they truly are going to keep going, this is what I think needs to happen. Because I look at the MCU and the Avengers and how they had Joss Whedon directing the first couple of Avengers movies.
Yeah.
And then Winter Soldier was a success. So the Russo brothers came in and basically took over.
Yeah, and then Taika Waititi appeared, and now he's taking over, potentially. So yeah, the rolling... Yeah.
Quite simply, I'm looking at the Bad Boys franchise, and frankly, yeah, again, Michael Bay, you are Joss Whedon. It's time to go.
Yeah, then the Russo brothers, whoever the equivalent is, apparently these guys.
These guys are basically the Russo brothers for the Bad Boys franchise.
And then that sweet, sweet Taika. Sweet Taika.
Like, if they're going to keep going, give these guys 4 and 5.
Yeah, let them go stupid hog wild, and then give it to someone who will really push it into the insanity stratosphere.
And, so, ratings-wise, for myself, I'm actually going to go, in probably a surprise to no one, 4 out of 5.
Wow.
It's, like, obviously, I had a blast with this.
Yeah.
And, as you've said, and I do agree, it's stupid.
Yeah.
By this point, if you're not there for stupid,
yeah,
I don't know what you're doing there.
And that's very fair. I'm going to give it, oddly enough, I'm going to give it like a 2.5.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Yeah, that's a higher rating than I gave Dr. Dolittle, because Dr. Dolittle had stupid elements and then essentially wanted you to forget those stupid elements. This had stupid elements, and then not fully. It'd have a higher mark if it went fully, but to an extent, rolled with those stupid elements. This is still a Bad Boys film where magic is real. I can't get too angry at a film that is that intentionally dumb. Like, do a crossover with Constantine, the Keanu Reeves one. There are so many stupid places that this could go, and I'm not going to watch a sequel. I'm never going to watch any of these fucking films again. But...
Oh, I'll tell you right now, if we're still doing shows when 4 comes out.
But it was acceptable nonsense.
Yeah.
It was acceptable nonsense.
It's one of those, like, even if you couldn't have fun with watching the movie itself like I did.
Yeah.
As you've clearly seen over the course of this review, we're having a lot of fun with the movie.
Yeah, it's fun to laugh at. And it does at least laugh with you, but sometimes you want to be mean to a film, and I'm not. It's not letting me be mean to it because it keeps laughing every time I point at it. Michael Bay movies you can be mean to.
Yeah.
You can't be mean to this because it's in on the joke.
Yeah, and I mean, quite frankly, I don't know if you've seen Six Underground.
No, I haven't yet.
This Bad Boys 3 is better.
Wow, I heard that Six Underground is supposed to be quite good.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is clearly trying hard. And it's Michael Bay's Mission Impossible.
Oh, okay. Now I know what you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now I remember what the hell. Okay.
It just doesn't really work. I think it's the simple. Michael Bay cannot do a Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah. No. Like, as much as I don't like J.J. Abrams, he's good at Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing with that, and only that.
First Star Trek movie, but otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, well, first Star Trek movie was good, but it definitely had like a lot of holes that you can plug stuff into, which we are now seeing with Picard.
And I mean, we won't discuss Into Darkness because fuck, that movie's so hard.
That didn't happen.
Nope.
That didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking
But with that, I'm just gonna call the end for this episode, and join us next month when I'll be celebrating my birthday with the Birds of Prey and the Birds of Prey movie.
The Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
That one.
Which it looks like, even if it's a mess, will be a glorious fucking mess.
Oh, in every way.
Oh, I can't wait for the Suicide Squad jokes. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, even just to see how they get rid of Jared Leto's Joker.
I think they're literally just going to be like, here's where he would be. Nope.
But anyway, like I said, that's Birds of Prey next month. Sonic the Hedgehog will be right after that. And for now, though, I have nothing to pitch at the moment anyway. So
check out my shit. Patreon.com/hereyougo.
Otherwise, that's a wrap. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons, share this video with your friends, and drop us a line anytime you like.